Awesome. There we go. Cool.
Yeah,
So you're running through being between inspections right now?
yeah, it's insane. Of course, as always. Uh, and we also run Raleigh gutters too. So I'm
Oh
all over the
man.
place. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, yeah,
that's
I
good and
wanted
bad.
to it's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
So yeah, I wanted to get you on here to kind of talk about home inspections and what people should be looking for. So if you want to take a second, introduce yourself. I have this recording, so I'll be able to post
okay,
it.
cool. Yeah, I'm Blaine Wallace, and we run new leaf home inspections here in the Triangle and beyond. Um, we do all kinds of inspections: home, radon, pest, septic, water testing, pretty much anything you need when you're purchasing a home. We're there for it.
Oh yeah, and I love using New Leaf. I think I've used you guys on maybe 80% of my deals, and it's always
Oh
a
yeah,
great experience. And you guys get the reports back quick. Um,
oh
I
yeah.
had a couple things I wanted to ask you. So, as a home inspector, what are some of the things you guys are mainly looking for, and what dictates what goes on the report and what doesn't?
Sure. So the main thing in North Carolina, as you know, it's kind of a buyer beware state. So first and foremost, nothing on our reports is going to deter, or it's not an end all be all. So our reports isn't it's not a pass or fail scenario. A lot of people do get that confused sometimes. But we put as much on a report as we can, and we're very detailed in our inspections. Um, we look at every aspect of the home from the roof down to the foundation, of course, and the intricate systems in between, electrical, plumbing. We look at your HVAC and make sure it's all working properly. All of our guys, as you know, do use thermal imaging throughout the
Yeah.
inspections where needed. That helps a lot. That way we know everything's working like it should be, or if there's a hot spot or a touchy area with leaks, it's a little bit easier for us to kind of pinpoint. But we literally look at every aspect of the house. And sometimes a home is beautiful and it's new construction and the report's very short. And then other times it's a little different and it's a little more, touchy of a home inspection. But that's our job at the end of the day, is to inform our clients of the home that they're getting ready to purchase, and everything can be fixed, as you know. Nothing is nothing is
Exactly.
the end all be all typically. Other people have more money to spend than someone else down the road, but it is what it
Wow.
is.
Now, for new construction, what do you have any horror stories or anything that really caught you off guard? Because a lot of people assume, hey, this was just built. What could possibly be wrong?
Yeah. So funny you say that. I'm personally building a new construction house in Smithfield right now, and we do pre-drywall inspection. So before all the drywall goes up and hides everything within the walls of the home, we get to look at the bones of the house, so to speak. Um, and my home, for example, the second floor closet area, there's a video on Instagram of it. You could literally shake the entire closet
Wow.
itself. Yeah. So, um, a lot of people, like you said, do get the impression that, hey, this is a new construction house. It's brand new. Everything's going to be perfect. But what we kind of, our emotions get the best of us as buyers. I know that. We get emotionally involved in the house, and we go along with that. Hey, it's brand new. This is going to be perfect for me. When at the end of the day, the guys that are building these homes do a wonderful job, but we're all human. So, there's always room for error, and that's the name of the game, and why it's important to get a third party inspection on your house, regardless of the date of construction.
Wow. So yeah, it's definitely within the buyer's benefit to definitely get an inspection, whether it's new construction or a resale. What would
Absolutely.
you say the buyers should be looking for when looking at a home? And I know I do as much as I can to look in the crawl
Mhm.
space, to look in the
Yeah.
attic, to see how old the appliances are. But there are some
Hmm.
situations where there's stuff, we don't know what's in the walls. We don't know like I had a situation where I did an inspection with you guys. We found termites in the crawl space that you
Hmm.
couldn't see if you just looked in the attic. So what are some tips
That's
you would
right.
suggest to like realtors or buyers of how to be more aware when showing a property?
Nine times out of ten, actually, there's a lot of great information on the internet about this. Looking under a home, some major signs. If there is any standing water when you're looking in a crawl space, that's always a red flag first and foremost, because that attracts termites.
Oh yeah.
In North Carolina, we do have a lot of those because that's just the climate we live in. It's nice and hot and humid during the summertime. And anytime there's water in any area, especially in the crawl space or foundation area of a house, that's what those termites like to eat. They like to eat wood with a moisture content around about 20%, give or take a little bit. That's what attracts them. So that would be a red flag. If you're walking around a house, anytime you see any major cracking in the foundation, things like that, obviously those would be things you want to take an extra close eye look at. But those would be some big things as you're walking around the home that you can look at. And then if a home's older, then it's obviously susceptible to a little bit. It's probably going to have a little bit more issues than a brand new constructed home at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure
just,
you've seen some. I'm sure you've seen some renovation projects as well that have just been going south, or a lot of DUIs that you're just like, wow.
Yeah, no, that's and you have people living in these homes, and sometimes they do great renovations, and most of the time, they pull permits, they've got all their plumbing blessed off by the city or county already, and the clean, good to go. But then other times, we have YouTube watchers and HGTV guys that kind of go with the flow and do the best they can, and sometimes it's all right, and other times it's kind of might want to relook at this.
My favorite's when they try to caulk the framing of a window and paint it white, and it's just mush when you press in on it. That seems to be a very, very popular option. So tell me a little bit.
Yeah, that's common.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tell me a little bit about New Leaf. I mean, how'd you guys get started? You guys have been around ever since I've been in real estate, but I'm interested to hear how the company first got started, and if you expanded into the gutter service business, or if that was first.
Yeah. So New Leaf was first, right after the military, basically. My brother-in-law actually is a realtor in Johnson County. So after I got out of the military, he was kind of, saying, hey, there's probably a huge market for this, not to knock on any inspectors in the area, but he was like, normally the inspectors I see are kind of, 60 and older, 50 and older, kind of a retirement thing. And a lot of the agents like yourself that are prominent in the area and busy are kind of around our age, in their 30s. So there's a little niche there for us that we saw. I do enjoy construction. I like the whole genre of it, and I enjoy the intricacies of a home and what goes into it, and always have. So right after the military, I jumped right in, and I was lucky enough to get on board with an established home inspector in Johnson County. So I actually worked for a home inspector before I opened New Leaf for a little over a year. So I had a great mentor. He taught me a lot, and then I learned a lot from him about, you mentioned our efficiency and how quick we get reports back. So we're not sitting around waiting on reports. We deliver them the same day. Our technology is up to date. Our guys can do their inspections, on their phones right as they're going along if they want to. That way the flow of information is really well between the realtor and the client. That way everybody's on the same page. And that was kind of a miss that I saw in the industry. A lot of guys are getting on board with the instant reports now, but when I first started about 4.5, 5 years ago, it was kind of a drag in the communication. So home inspectors in general are doing a great job of that today, keeping up with technology, keeping up with flow of information, and it's almost immediate. And then the gutters bounce off of the home inspections. Believe it or not, there are no requirements or licensure procedures for gutter installations in North Carolina, which is crazy. It's asinine. And so being on thousands of home inspections, seeing all these gutters that are just, destroyed or not installed on houses, we saw a little niche for that in the area. So we do run Raleigh gutters and are very busy, luckily. And the gutters to me are important because it's one of the only things that protect the foundation of the house. Obviously, that's where we find a lot of issues. It contributes to wet crawl spaces like we talked about earlier. Contributes to foundation settlement, things like that. So it's definitely a great addition to a home, or a great thing to maintain on a house.
It's crazy too to see how many homes don't have gutters, and it's it's mind-boggling. It's like you would think that's something that would come new, but a lot of homes just don't have it. That's awesome.
A lot of builders. sorry. Yeah, a lot of builders do install them now, but again, not required to in our state. And you still see brand new construction homes going up. You know, I'm
Yeah.
sure you see them all the time too, without
Oh
gutters,
yeah.
and it's just, hey, we don't have to do it, so we're not going to do it.
Man, that's awesome. And you guys seem to be very active on social media too, which is probably something new for the home inspection world, which I love. And that's
It
how I
is.
originally got in contact with you guys. So
Yep.
start scheduling appointments. So tell me a little bit about that. When did you start picking up the theme and of posting consistently on social media?
So that almost started right off the bat for us. Again, that came with me working for another inspector that was a little bit. He's not older, but he'd been doing it for a very long time, and he just had no, no social media presence or anything
Yeah.
like that. And for us, and I'm sure for you as a realtor, it's the same way. It's a huge market for us because everyone's on social media. I know when I'm on social media, I would almost rather just message somebody on Instagram or text somebody rather than trying to call and wait for a call
Yep.
back. It's just, to me, social media is not as personal, and a lot of people do look for that. And so for us, we can be informative for our clients and realtors. If they haven't used us before, then we try our best to post some good content on there and keep it light and funny at the same time. That because at the end of the day, inspections are kind of almost depressing once you get them on a house. I mean, everybody's waiting on bad news,
Oh yeah.
and it's scary. It really is.
Yeah. And
And
the
I
first
bought
time
homes,
looking
and
at
it's
it,
just,
it's intimidating as well. You know, a lot of people
it
see, wow,
is.
that's 40 pages, Faisal. What are we going to do? And I'm like, oh, let's
Mhm.
relax. Let's go through it.
That's
Um,
right.
and yeah, that's how I got into the industry too. I just noticed a lot of these realtors were a little bit older, and I'm like, well, man, who's
Mhm.
going to carry the torch? So jumped in it just kind of like you did. So I thought it was funny that you stated that. Wow. So
Yep.
in your recent inspections, obviously with the market being so hot, and also with home prices rising, have you noticed, people jumping into properties a little faster, or you're seeing, maybe flips that have just been gone bad because people are just trying to put stuff up for sale so quick?
Yeah, absolutely. On both of those fronts, people are doing short closes or whatever. I don't know the word for it that you guys do, but their due diligence period is almost
Oh yeah.
non-existent.
Yep.
So we need an inspection. If they do want to get an inspection, they get an inspection. It needs to be done yesterday, and we can almost do that all the time, as you know.
Yeah.
The more or not what we hear now is, hey, I'm going to use this inspection just for my own personal knowledge. I understand the home is coming with, hey, as is, we're not fixing anything. That's kind of almost the norm in today's market from what I hear in the area because it's so popular. People are offering, lots of money, over asking 9 times out of 10. And so once you've put that money down on your due diligence, you're kind of, not unless it's just a very, very bad situation in the home, you're almost definitely going to buy that house. I know if it's me and I'm putting down a lot of money, then I'm pretty much buying the house because I can't afford to back out of the deal. So,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's just a normal average person. And this is the largest purchase most of us make in our entire lifetime. And we only make a few of them typically. So the inspection is still a huge part of that. At least what you're getting into. Hey, is this home safe? Are there any major repairs we're going to have to make as soon as we get into this house we just bought that was recently renovated, that was built in the 50s? What's the foundation look like? What's the longevity on this house really going to be for me and my family moving forward? And is it going to be safe for us to move into? It's kind of the more of the clients we have recently in the area, especially with
Wow.
their short due diligence periods, with their all this money we're putting down on the home, we're kind of almost locked in. So
Wow.
I would
And
say inspections are more important now than
oh,
than
I agree.
the previous
I agree.
market.
And I think with the market being as heavy as it is, it's now people are kind of biting their nails to get the inspection back because they're like, man, I have 20,000 in due diligence on this. Like, this thing better come back crystal clean. And it
Yeah.
is scary for buyers nowadays. But I've noticed that sellers, even though North Carolina is an as is state, most of the time sellers
Mhm.
are willing to help out because they understand this is a huge
Sure.
purchase, and the sellers are going to be in the same position when they try to purchase if they plan to stay in the area. Now,
That's right.
I had a specific question when it comes to your guys' home inspections. Do you guys offer any type of estimate service or anything like that? Or is that potentially a future plan of New Leaf? Just because, you know, what I basically do is take your guys' report, shoot it off to a bunch of handymen and being like, hey, what is this looking like, to put a number on it?
Yeah. So in our state, our licensure board is extremely strict as far as our relationship between ourselves as a company and realtors, and not only that, but ourselves and contractors. So even with us running Raleigh gutters, we have to be very careful. We can't work on homes that we've recently inspected. We can't give estimates, aren't supposed to give estimates on homes for repairs. If I give you an estimate and I say, hey, this tile shower needs to be redone, it'll probably cost you $5,000. And you take that and you say, hey, you asked for that repairs, right, for your client, and they give you the $5,000. Great. Client goes and gets a quote from a contractor that's actually retiling the shower, and it comes back at $15,000.
Wow.
The inspector said $5,000. You see what I'm saying? The kind of conflict of interest there.
So it gets sticky. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a great idea of how we have a great idea of what expenses are and how things are priced in the area. But if we start to give you guys prices and we start to give out these price sheets on foundation repairs, plumbing repairs, things like that, it all depends on who you call, kind of like a car. You take it to one mechanic and you've got one price, and you take it to, the manufacturer's mechanic and it's, $1,000 more or whatever it is. It's just kind of a conflict of interest for us in the state of North Carolina. Other states do that. Now it's very popular in other states, and other states have, home inspectors have great relationships with contractors in the area. And they, kind of bounce back and forth. I got this job. Hey, I just inspected this house. They need a bathroom renovation. What you got? And then they kind of flip back and forth. You know what I mean? It's just to protect. It's in the client's best interest that we get as little involved in that as possible. That way, you as a realtor and then even on their own, they can reach out and get quotes on their own. That way, there's no third party involved in in the back and forth of that. Really, it's in the client's best interest, I think.
And what would you say New Leaf's current source of business? Is it mainly from realtors you guys have built relationship with, or do you guys build relationships also with customers and stuff, and you see some repeat customers that aren't even maybe in the market, but they just want a home inspection done on their property?
We do get those very often. So a lot of homeowners reach out again on social media, and they'll say, hey, I bought my house 10 years ago. I don't know what's going on with it. Can you come check it out and get my crawl space? Sure, absolutely. But I'd say 70% of our business comes from realtor relationships like yours, and then friends of friends. And so that's our source of business, is really word of mouth. But social media does great, and it only gets us so far. Once we, establish that relationship with a realtor, then, 9 times out of 10, it works well. Now, we're not perfect, and we'll make somebody mad along the way, because we're human, and not every house is perfect, and we have to be honest. But we do our absolute best to explain that in the lightest of ways and in the best of ways to our clients, because, like I said earlier, everything really can be fixed, and that's the actuality of the situation. There's nothing that can't be fixed in a home. So, some people get bent up on that, and some people get kind of taken back when they, like you said, receive that 40, 80 page inspection report on a 1940s home, and it's just like, well, look, it's kind of it's an older house.
Yeah, and it's better to be honest with them. Hey, this is what's going on in the property, and it's some of these problems are very serious as well. They need to be addressed. They could be safety hazards. When you're going through a property, how long does it usually take you to go through it? And I know sometimes clients want to be there for the inspection. To my understanding, most inspectors probably recommend clients stopping by at the end. That way it gives you guys time to kind of go through at your own. But what's your intake on that aspect?
No, I agree with that. So like I said, we're human. And if we have someone there following us around, looking over our shoulders, then we might miss something. And it's hard to carry on conversation and really focus on what we're doing, because it is a very, very intricate process. And there is a lot of stuff to look at on a home in a very, very short amount of time. So, there are thousands of components of a house, and we try to hit every single one as we're going along. We welcome all clients out to inspections. We welcome, we do encourage, of course, wearing masks and things inside the house because of the climate and because of everything going on, being as safe as possible. We welcome everyone out. We typically ask for at least an hour and a half window. That way our inspectors can get out there and get a really good foothold on the home, knock out the major components, and then happy to kind of have a good conversation at the end of the inspection. That way we can walk around the house if we need to. We can kind of pinpoint issues for you guys and show you the major items that will be on the report. That way everybody's got a sight on the items, and that way you're not just reading black and white on a report. And it sounds very bad when in actuality we can better explain it in person with a more lengthy conversation. So yeah, we welcome everyone out. Give us a little bit of time to kind of get there and get on our grind and get on our foothold in the house. But then yeah, please come out. Absolutely.
Awesome. And I love how interactive your guys' site is. I mean, it's so easy for me to go hop on, tell you exactly what I'm looking for. You guys right there suggest options, and it always gets done right away. And you guys have also very competitive pricing, which is amazing too. A lot of people get intimidated when you say home inspection or we got to do a pest inspection. They're like, oh God, this is going to be a couple thousand. You guys are priced very well, and it really is amazing service. And yeah, I wanted to thank you for hopping on, but I'm definitely going to be posting this, and I'll link you guys too. And I know we're going to be doing a lot more business together, so I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we appreciate your relationship, and we're here for it and ready to grow with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. See you, man.
All right, man. See you.